Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Evan Vanderpool. Um, I had a pretty crazy upbringing as a kid, and this is basically my life testimony. And so, at the age of 3, I had open heart surgery, and I don't really remember much about that, but I know it was from a heart murmur and a bicuspid valve in my heart. So basically, I was already destined to not even make it. And my parents got divorced around the age of 7, which was about 4 years after that. And all I remember from that is my mom saying that my dad cheated on her, and she found notes in from another woman in the house, which was my grandparents' house that they were staying at, and that obviously ended it. And from then, I remember switching schools a lot and wondering if I'm ever gonna fit in because I was always bullied for either the way that I look, um, me being overweight because at one point I was 245 pounds and I had a 38-inch waist and 36% fat. And so around the age of 8 to 10 is when I gave my life up to God and believed that Jesus Christ came down and did what he did so that way we could be able to go to heaven and be with him. And I did that because one night on Halloween I saw everybody praising this way of living, and I didn't want to be like that because I knew it was wrong. And from then on, I always struggled with going over to my dad's house every other Sunday because that's all he had custody of us for, because of drinking and not paying child support from the divorce. Then, a few years down the road, my dad ends up meeting somebody. Her name was Linda, and my, my dad's name is Dennis, and they were still married till this day. And every other weekend, when I would go over to his house, well, my stepmom's house, I would kick and scream because I would have to go. I didn't have a choice. So every Sunday, I would kick and scream, not wanting to go to my dad's house because every time I'd be over there, he'd be too drunk to even take care of us, basically. And I'm not blaming him. The divorce probably took a toll on him too, as it did with me. And I'm sorry for what you went through, dude. And I'm sorry I got as angry as I got. And I know that's not right of me to hold that anger in for so long. And I'm sorry. And it was just hard seeing him like that angry every day, day in and day out, for a majority of my life. And seeing that example led to me drinking at the age of 15. Non-stop going over to friends' houses and getting blacked out drunk and not giving a damn about high school. And I really didn't care about school because I would go there and get bullied for praying that everything would stop because I'd be mocked by people saying, oh, you're praying. What God are you praying to that's not even real when He is 100% real? And being overweight and having a learning disability, because I was in an IEP, independent learning, for dyslexia. And I had to be in special classes the first 2 years of high school. And I started off at Lockwood Elementary, went from Lockwood Elementary to Snohomish County Christian. Then I graduated from Jackson High School. And during the time at Jackson High School, my brother had bullied my girlfriend so bad that he didn't know this, but we were pregnant at the time and she miscarried the baby. So I hold a lot of anger in because of that too. And Nathan, I'm sorry. I hope you forgive me for what I have said against you. And I'm sorry, dude. And I'm just done conforming. Like, I don't know. The past couple weeks have just been chill, dude. And I'm sorry, you two, for saying the stuff I've said. But I just want to get my story out. Like, I'm done holding it in, man. So, I'd say from the age of 15, I started drinking for a couple, well, 13 to 14, I started drinking because I got drunk New Year's one night with a half a gallon of Monarch vodka from a friend that I worked with at Little Caesars. Now, I mixed it in with Mountain Dew, so the whole family wouldn't know, and I'd be drinking with them. And same with my brother, and they just didn't tell the parents because if I told, I'd be blackmailed into getting bullied at school by all their friends because I was different. So I was kind of getting tired of it, so I dropped out of my IEP, which was probably a mistake, just so that way I could challenge myself, and I miserably failed. I smoked weed at like 16. I didn't even get high. Like, I smoked it out of a Coke can, and like back in the day. And I skipped school and got caught. And I got suspended for a week. Even longer than that because my mom was truly ticked. So, from there, I also got in trouble for fighting. And I didn't even fight the dude. AJ Coppage was bullying me so bad off to the side and talking stuff behind me about my back that I had enough. And I heard about it. And I just said enough's enough, dude. And we had UFC fights held at our school, or I was about to partake in that and beat the crap out of him. And somehow the principal got involved, which I'm like, what the heck, man? You don't even know what's going on. And he stopped it before it even happened. And I walked home into my own house to getting slapped in the face by my own mom. Not even fighting the dude. So, I got that going on. Then I kind of stopped for a while, get my act together, you know. I'm like, okay, I'm just done doing this. I'm done disappointing my family. I'm done, you know, I'm done with all that. About the age of 9, I start hearing from my stepdad because both my parents got remarried. My mom got married to my stepdad Jerry, and then my dad got married to my stepmom Linda. So there's a lot of fighting that went on in the house. It's kind of hard to remember because just of how traumatizing it was, man. Like, people don't understand. You can get PTSD from just drama. You can get it from anything. And Jesus is the only way to save that. And I'm tired of thinking otherwise. So that was when I went on my drinking rampage of getting angry that my mom was getting remarried, getting angry that my dad's getting remarried. I'm gonna have to deal with all these kids. I don't like any of them. I barely even like my own brother. Like, he barely even talks to me. Like, I get it. I messed up in my life, man. I'm not perfect. And I'll admit that online. Like, there's only one person who is, and his name's Jesus. Because he came back to prove that, so that way we could go to heaven to be with him. And by no means am I a preacher or anything. I've just been through a lot of crap. So, and from 17 to 19, I worked at Brunswick Lanes in Linwood. And I was trying to get a job at Boeing. And I ended up getting the job one day, surprisingly. I guess my stepdad and his friend Patrick pulled my application, which I thank you guys for, and I appreciate you guys for that. And I don't know how they did it, but I just thank them immensely. And I'm sorry for doing you guys wrong. And I ended up getting my own place. Shortly after, I worked night shift, which was 3 to 11:30, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. And I had it good for a while. And then I went back to my old ways because slowly into it, I started feeling all the aches and pains. And midway through, my dad was teaching me how to snowboard. And that was something that we really had in common, that I enjoyed being able to spend time with him, being able to talk to him, and being able to open up to my own dad, because I had never really had that. And when I was snowboarding, I ended up tearing my shoulder about 60% in my arm. My labrum, I think it connects your rotator cuff to your pec muscle in my right shoulder. And I had a bruise going all the way up it. And from there, I couldn't really take it on my own anymore, so I asked an old roommate to move in with me. Or old friend. He's an old roommate now, but old friend. His name is Alex. He was a good dude, and I'm sorry for the crap that we went through to you, man. Like, I truly am. If you can forgive me, I forgive you, and I'm not mad at you anymore. And from there, it was kind of hard to do the work because I was doing massive, heavy riveting. If you guys don't know what that is, it's an air pneumatic tool that you use to install airplane parts. And basically, it's 2,700 RPMs on your body. And that's basically equivalent to like a jackhammer on your body for 3 to 5 years. Almost 5 years. And just the repetitive injury over time screwed me up, man. I ended up tearing another part in my shoulder, which was my rotator cuff. I ended up having 2 bulging discs, C3 and 4 in my neck, and 5 that were slipped and rotated 4 different ways. And then a collarbone that was growing in the wrong socket, and a popped out rib, all because I chose to ignore the signs that God was clearly trying to present to me that your body's jacked up. So, about midway through me living on my own, I ended up going back to weed for the pain because they were prescribing me all these pills And I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, these pills aren't working. I'm done feeling this way. I'm done feeling so detached from the world. I'm done feeling dissociated from the world. And Cymbalta was one of the really bad ones that almost made me want to take my own life at one point in my own apartment. Because I didn't have a dad to talk to. I didn't have family to talk to. I had nobody. So, one night, while living on my own, my roommate was out and about with his girl. And long story short, I ended up spending the night in jail because he wasn't paying rent. And it ended up into back pay rent. And we owed about $3,500 in rent. And that stacked up and stacked up and stacked up. And it was just like, eventually I just lost it because we were going to get evicted. And I broke down his door and I ended up in jail. And while in jail, that's where I feel like I truly had an encounter with God. I heard his voice clearly in my head, step by step, telling me what to do to fix the situation. And I thank Jesus for that till this day because that helps save my life. Because at one point I would sit in the apartment wanting to kill myself because of the pain I was feeling from my own fault. Because I was on pills, I was taking antidepressant medication pills, and then I was smoking weed, and then I was taking shrooms, I've done acid, Molly, coke unwillingly because somebody put it in a blunt and didn't tell me. And I also dipped and smoked for a long period of my life, starting from the age of 13, because 12 or 13, I don't remember, because I would skip school and go smoke a whole pack of cigs because I got tired of being bullied and I wanted to feel something different. And I ended up in jail. I got back. Luckily, it was only a domestic dispute, so it wasn't really a charge. It was just I had to keep clear of him. It was no contact order, and it was just from there. I ended up moving back to my parents. By parents, I mean my mom and my stepdad, and I ended up getting a job at Azel's Chicken for a few years, and Selwyn, I thank you for allowing me to get a job there. I hope you're doing well, man, and I'm sorry for the hell that I've caused you in your life. And that went really well, and I had quit weed for a while and all that other crap. I was still dipping and smoking cigarettes, but I had quit everything, mostly. And from there, I ended up quitting Azel's to go to car detailing, which was a guy's own business, which ended up going really south. And I was driving from Mill Creek to Kirkland every single day to barely even get 2 hours of work. And at that point, I just had enough. Like, I ended up getting a job at Fred Meyer's, which was even worse, because I was getting paid way less. I had insurance, but, like, I was doing triple the work for $255 a week. I'm like, dude, I can't take it anymore, because it was on nights. And I'm tired. I was working from 2 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., and I would go there early just to get high in my car. And sorry about that. Excuse me. And yeah, I would just go there early to get high in my car so that way I could make it through the shift. Because I was relying on worldly things to get me through certain things instead of Jesus. And that's not right. And so I ended up finding a church midway through the Boeing thing. And that church was Candy Creek. And I ended up getting baptized through them. And I could tell you the feeling was really unreal. Like, I felt like every wrongdoing I've done in my life was just covered over God. Not saying it's completely taken away. I still have to admit to those and say that I did them. And yes, I'm sorry for all that crap that I put everybody through. And, like, I've just been through a lot of crap, man. And from the Fred Meyers, I ended up getting a job at Boston's, which ended up going south because the company shut down because they lost their license. So there's that, and from there, it's just bouncing around from jobs, man. And somehow in between there, I met my fiance Jessie, and we're doing really great together. We've been together for a year. I mean, it's had its ups and downs, but every relationship does. And this last year, I ended up losing my kid. It got stuck in her fallopian tube, and it made her fallopian tubes, not both of them, but one of them burst. And the baby passed away, and it almost killed her at the same time. So I just thank God for being through with me through all this, because I couldn't do it on my own, man. I did not handle things well, and I'm sorry for the way I've handled things, and that's on me. Nobody else. Right now, I just wanted to post this just so that way, like, people can understand. And it's like in the past, it's just like I've had sex with as many men as I've had women. And tired of holding that in. I'm tired of people saying that I hate gay people, because I don't. Like, we're all people. We all go through crap. But I don't think it's right. And I'm allowed to think what I'm allowed to think. Like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and it's not my job to worry about what anybody else thinks about me. That's only Jesus' job. So, thank you guys if you're listening. Just know, Jesus does love you, man. And I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I hope you take this to heart, that anybody's life can be changed by Jesus. And it's been 8 years off pills and alcohol, shrooms and acid. Shrooms has been more than enough years, and then acid has been about a year. Like, weed, it's been 6 days. Like, I've been with a man in like years, thank God. And just thank you guys, like, everybody, for just being who they are. And I hope you have a blessed day, and thank you, Jesus, for what you've done for me.